Hey, it's Jay. I'm back with another video, man. And we what?
It's your boy Von.
Alright, man. We about to do a reaction to a scary cartoon video. So I guess it's about to be about a bus stop horror story, animated. I forgot. I don't know how to say the dude's name. So, but I'm gonna put it in the description though. Somebody else wanna react to it though. Give him credit for the video. I think it came out like 2 or 3 months ago. But alright, we about to start, man. Hey, these videos kind of creepy though.
This happened when I was 17 years old. I would go to the gym 3 to 4 times a week and ride the bus home. It was a Sunday and I had just missed my bus, so I had to wait longer for another one. I would have called my parents.
Oh yeah, by the way, you're gonna do another one.
And taxis
do
charged
2 in
more,
one video.
so I decided to sit and wait in the bus shelter. It was a cold night and snow had just started peppering the ground. My bus was taking longer than usual, so I got my phone out and listened to some music. Almost an hour had passed. It was freezing and I hadn't seen anyone at all. That was until I noticed something out of the corner of my eye. It was a creepy guy dressed in thick layers of clothing, walking slowly towards me. I knew staring at him would draw more attention, so I just focused on my phone. He sat down at the other end of the shelter and just stared at me. There was something off about him. He seemed like he was either drunk or on drugs. He then asked, "What does the boss do?" I took out my earphones and said,
What?
"I think it's delayed because of the snow."
Your boy nervous.
He stared at me for a while, then started mumbling to himself. He was really starting to creep me out, so I pretended to be on my phone. After a couple of minutes, I took another look. He moved closer to me. I looked away for a second, then heard the sound of him sliding even closer. I turned to him and said, "You okay there?" He stared at me with glossy eyes, lifted his arm, and leaned towards me.
Oh, the sock that
Immediately,
nigga.
I grabbed my bag and ran as he fell to the ground. I ran down the road, trying my hardest not to look back. I kept going until I got to the next bus stop. I turned around to check to see if he was there. He was gone, so I went to sit down. Feeling relieved, I rested my head on the back of the glass and waited for the bus. I jolted and turned around to see the same guy staring at me through the glass.
What the hell is wrong with you?
Then he started walking around the shelter towards me.
I'm warning you, stay back.
I yelled in panic as I was backing up. I wanted to run, but I left my bag in the shelter and I couldn't leave without it. Suddenly, the man leaped at me and I quickly moved out of the way. He fell to the ground face first. I froze in shock, then noticed the blood coming from his face.
Dumbass.
I tried to get a response out of him, but nothing worked. I called the police and paramedics and they arrived shortly after. I told them what had happened and they told me that the guy was on prescription drugs. They found a photo in his wallet of him and his son. The boy looked just like me, so we assumed he thought I was him. I later learned that he had lost his son in a custody battle and went off the rails. He was taken away for treatment. That was the last I saw of him. I got my driver's license shortly after and have never been on a bus since.
Alright, this is a different one now. This is about a Christmas true story. Creepy Christmas true time story, animated. So yeah, we about to start this one now. Let's get it. This one about 5 minutes.
It was November of 2006. I was a 16-year-old kid living in the town of Altoona, Iowa. I went to bed early one night because I had to work the early shift at McDonald's. As I slept, I had a dream that I was running through downtown Des Moines, but I wasn't on a jog. I was running from something. As I ran around the corner of a building, I came face to face with my pursuer. A tall man wearing a trench coat and a top hat stood in front of me.
Oh, hell no.
The only thing visible of his face was his eyes. They were abnormally large with black pupils, and it looked at me as if it wanted something. After what felt like hours, he reached out his bony hand, as if he wanted me to go with him.
Like the Grinch hand, boy.
I woke up violently from my dream, and after catching my breath, I peered around my room to see if I was safe.
Looking at it, boy.
As I stood up from my bed, I noticed that I could see my breath. Feeling confused, I checked my
Cold
window.
as hell.
It was latched shut. I then walked over and checked my vent. I could still feel warm air coming from it. As I sat back down on my bed, I tried to figure out what exactly was going on. That's when the figure from my dream appeared at the foot of my bed. I scrambled back to my headboard.
Excellent.
What do you want?
I asked, trying to hide the shakiness in my voice.
Shit.
With the same bony finger, it pointed at me. Growing up in a religious home, I believed what I was looking at was a demon. I told the creature to leave. It just waved its finger at me. With a low voice, it
That
spoke
couldn't
to
be a
me.
black person.
Never leave. Always here.
Bro, just picture that in first
The
person,
creature
nigga.
then screamed loudly and disappeared. A feeling of nausea came over me, and I vomited on my floor. The last thing I remember was cleaning myself up and waking up to my alarm. It's been about a month since I had seen the top hat wearing man in my bedroom. The Christmas season was in full effect. My parents weren't home because they got invited to some kind of event, so it was only me and my 3 sisters at home. I had to wake up early in the morning for work, so I decided to go to sleep. I rested my head on my pillow and closed my eyes. Not even 30 seconds passed until my sisters burst into my room and started singing obnoxious songs. This, of course, made me very angry, but I thought if I ignored them that they would leave me alone. This was not the case. As I pulled the blankets over my head, I started to feel the same cold feeling that I had in November.
Oh, hey.
As the obnoxious singing subsided, I lowered the blanket below my eyes and saw the man standing in the corner of my room.
Now, how many times they gonna pop
In one
up?
swift motion, he charged towards me, and I blacked
Ooh,
out.
I just gotta.
When I finally came to, I found that my sisters
I
had
just gotta
locked
chill,
themselves
nigga.
inside the bathroom. As I knocked on the door, they told me to go away. I asked them what happened, and all they could say was
I
Mom and
just felt
Dad
that.
were on their way home. I looked down and saw that my hand was slightly bloody. Holes were in the bathroom door, and a broom was sticking out of the wall. I then walked into the living room and found that there were
That's
knives
fair.
stuck into the wall as well. The same wave of nausea passed over me, just like in November, and I threw up again. As I was cleaning up, my parents walked through the
You got a
door.
weak stomach.
My father immediately walked over to me and gave me a good beating. Then he sent me to my room.
Wait, what the hell?
I
He
went to
said his
bed
dad
crying.
gave him a good beating.
Not
Said
what?
in the bed. Oh,
I
that
was crying because of the confusion. I had no idea what was going on.
whoop that nigga
The
ass.
next morning, my sisters reluctantly
It's like
sat
the
next to
Simpsons
me
or something.
and told me what had happened. They
Went
said
out
I
of the
got
light.
angry and chased
American
them down
God.
and tried to hurt them. They said my eyes were red to the point where they thought I was bleeding from them. They
The
said I
demon got
sounded
inside
like a
him.
different person.
Is that a demon
In
scene?
2011, that was the last time I saw the top
Man,
hat
God
wearing
sent.
man. I just moved into a new apartment,
Kodak.
and after a long, stressful day of unpacking, I took a shower and got ready for bed. As I started to drift off, I could feel that cold feeling again. I lifted my head and saw the man standing in front of me. The man's
That
eyes
nigga
were red
smoking that
now,
Doja.
with a low voice.
Nigga eyes
Just like
red
on
as
that
hell.
November night, it looked at me and said, "Never leave, always here."
Yeah, alright.
It's tough.
Alright, man. That's it for that video. Man, that one part gave me a little chill though, I ain't gonna lie. You get chills? You ain't feel nothing? You ain't feel like a little woof? You know?
I was trying to figure out how the story added up. So basically, if nobody didn't get that, the demon went inside the boy. From his point of view, he thought that he had fell back to sleep, but in reality, from what his sister was telling him, that his eyes was red and he was chasing him and all that stuff.
It's crazy how his dad whooped his ass and sent him to bed.
He got his ass slept too.
Damn. Well, man, that's it for this video, man. Like, comment, subscribe. My brother's channel gonna be down in the description. So subscribe to him. Turn on the notification bell. And got something to say, man?
Add my social medias.
What's your social media, my guy?
Go to my channel and find out. Subscribe to me.
Bah!
Dumb ass.